Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are planting a few more perennials out in the garden, kind of maintaining the same theme of what can I plant in my garden that looks amazing through the hot part of the summer. And one of those things are sedum, most definitely. These plants, you guys, are just one of the lowest maintenance, no fuss plants that you could really put in any space so long as you've got a lot of sun. I've got 3 varieties here that you can see. One is brand new for next year, 2023. This one's called Bright Idea. It's more of a ground cover. We've got Back in Black, which is new for this year, 2022. I did plant some of these last year and I'm excited to add this color out into the south garden. I have so many spots that need this depth of color. And then we've got an older one. It's not super old. I think it came out maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago. This one's called Boogie Woogie. And this one, you guys, when it starts pushing new growth in the spring, you get a lot of bright pink. Right now there's not as much. You can see like a little tinge in some of the leaves, but it's like bright pink, creamy white, green and yellow. It's just the most beautiful thing. And both this one and the Bright Idea, you can see if you look, there are some spent blooms. It has already bloomed and now we're enjoying kind of a second flush here. And then our upright sedum, this one just starts blooming like mid to late summer and goes through fall. You can see that some of the blooms are now just starting to open. There are so many good things about sedum. I mean, they can take pretty much whatever kind of soil you have except for anything that holds too much water. That's probably the only thing with sedum that you have to be mindful of, but they don't want to be fertilized ever. They want kind of crummy soil. They just want to be neglected. They're a very water-wise plant. You don't have to water them a lot after they're established, even the first year. This is one of those that, you know, typically first year plants you have to supplement water and give them quite a bit to get them through the hot part of the summer. I mean, these you need to water consistently, but they don't need near the amount even their first year. And they're a once a year cutback. So I leave mine up through the winter months because they do provide some really beautiful winter structure. Even the upright ones usually have strong enough stems to withstand some snow even. And I go out, I find myself cutting them in the wintertime and using them in cut flower arrangements as kind of a dried accent. So I just come in the spring, cut off kind of the, you know, dead tops, and then they flush back beautifully. When they are coming out of the ground fresh in the spring, they look like little rosettes. They're just the most beautiful plant. And all of these varieties here are a zone 3 through 9, so incredibly winter hardy, and the pollinators love them. And they're all rabbit resistant if that's something you deal with in your garden. That's thankfully not something I have to deal with. I've seen a rabbit one time in our garden. In fact, when I saw that one, I thought, oh, here we go. If we've got one, there's gonna be a lot. But ever since then, that's been a few years ago, I haven't seen any. So let's talk about this first one. Bright Idea, again, is the name. The stems are kind of this pinkish red color, just a medium green color leaf, and then the blooms are star-shaped and come out in these gorgeous clusters, and there's a little bit of creamy white in them, but they just bring a nice bright pop. So this is a really good one for like the edges of borders because it tops out at about 10 to 12 inches tall and it will spread out about 16 to 20 inches. And now the Back in Black. Now this one grows about 2 feet tall and about 2.5 feet wide. Of course, they've got these deep purple stems and the really dark purple leaves. Now these, you will notice some white spots on the leaves. That's just due to our hose water. We have very hard water. Once we plant all of our things in the landscape, they get drip irrigated, so they're irrigated underneath and no water's touching their leaves. So those won't be here next year. So anyway, that's just what happens when we have plants in containers. It's kind of inevitable. They get a little bit of water spots on them. But the blooms on this one, you guys, you can see they come up in kind of these loose clusters. These are just starting to open, but the petals are kind of a creamy white color, and then the inner part is a pinkish red. So they just have a very unique look to them. They're just beautiful. And then we've got the Boogie Woogie, which I already talked about how gorgeous the new fresh growth is in terms of color, but this one is the shortest of all of them. You can kind of tell that, you know, if you just take an overall look. 6 to 8 inches tall is how big these grow, and then about 16 to 18 inches wide. I planted some of these out in my parents' garden, and this spring my mom called and she was like, what is that sedum that you planted? We want to get more. Because they were so enamored with the color when they pushed new growth this spring. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna head out to the south garden, put these in the ground. The nice part about today, we don't even have to carry fertilizer with us. They just wanna be planted, watered in, and then just kind of watered sparingly, consistently but sparingly, if that makes sense. We don't want to deluge them with water because they do not like that. So let's go get it done. No fertilizer today.
What? Oh yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty good. You guys, we got some overcast. It feels so nice out here. And I love where they all ended up. So we're standing on the grass path that leads to the cut flower garden. You can see our pathway that's in progress over on that side. But on this side, I've got a lot of green in here. So we've got the cat's meow napida. We do have the ginger wine 9-barks, which brings the red. But as I was working down this way, I needed to add some depth of color in this space as well. So now we just planted the totem pole panicum yesterday. That one gets 4 feet wide and 4 feet tall. So that'll be kind of our highest layer so far. I am going to be putting a larger green evergreen right in this space here, and probably another couple evergreens in here in the center area, and some larger shrubs. But we've got the Firefly Peach Sky Yarrow, which gets a little bit taller, I think like 30 inches. And then we've got the Purple Illusion, which, you know, we planted these right at the peak of the heat, I think. And we need to cover over with compost. But the Purple Illusion Veronica grows about 16 to 18 inches tall. And then our Back in Black Sedum will grow, you know, the 2 feet tall. So it'll be a beautiful step up in layer and in color. And then I did leave space up here so we could start our next drift of something even shorter right in here to kind of cruise around this way. And then I've just been working my way back. But I think the color of these blooms with the color of this plant's really beautiful, and it contrasts the blue grass right in here. It just looks really pretty, I think. The next one is the Boogie Woogie Sedum. It's on the other side, and I actually like the placement of that one the very best out of all three today. Oh gosh, you guys, I wish you could be here to see it in person. Oh, it looks pretty. Look at that sky. I don't think we're expecting any rain, but boy, I would be happy if we got some. It did sprinkle the tiniest bit this morning. In fact, I saw a weather report for last night that said we were supposed to get some really strong gusty winds, and I thought, oh no. We've been spared that. I mean, we've had wind, but not the huge, 70-mile-an-hour gusts like we normally get every summer. So I thought, well, here we are. And we didn't get those, but we got a little bit of rain. So Anyways, really nice. Okay, we are entering the loop right here. And Boogie Woogie is on this side, right by the echinacea. So look at that drift, like how it kind of goes in behind the echinacea. This is the Granada Gold or Sombrero Gold. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, I've got 4 of those echinacea, which last year I had a couple more and I lost those 2. So it's kind of unlikely, like I don't know when I would be able to find that exact variety to pop back in this spot. So I thought, well, that doesn't even matter. I will put the Sedum right in here. I'm going to put probably another one of our Agastaki. This is the Royal Raspberry right in this space. So that can kind of, you know, be a layer behind the echinacea, and it will block this yellow from this yellow a little bit. Anyway, I think that this Sedum just brought such a bright light to this area. I just think it's gorgeous. And eventually, like you saw in the end, I ended up splitting this one so I could have a little piece here. I might come in and just split these eventually and kind of fill in this space. I did add a rock right here, just a little landing pad, so when we need to come in and turn the hose on, we've got somewhere to step that's not right in the mud. Anyway, I'm just thrilled with that right there. Oh, and then the Bright Idea is right there. So in this space, we have the Queen Nectarine Agastaki, which these get quite large, like small bushes almost, and they've got that mango color. And then we have this really beautiful corally pink Echinacea, and then the Bright Idea Sedum. And honestly, I think like the ones right up here especially, I'm not going to run drip to. These 2 will probably need a little bit, but not much. It's just kind of the perfect area to plant these because they can get a tiny bit of water from overspray from the grass, but that's all they're going to want. And then there's the other Niagara Falls panicums that we planted yesterday. Did I say that the other panicum up there was a totem pole? I can't remember if I said that. Anyway, they're all Niagara Falls, the ones I've showed you today. I think that really fun bright yellow is pretty with the pink. Love it. Oh, and as we walk back this way, you can see all the layers just starting to mix together. I'm loving it so much. And that is it for sedum planting today. 3 really fun varieties that just look good all season long. Sedums are they're just awesome plants. I actually took a break right when I got done splitting that one Boogie Woogie sedum. I set the extra piece on the ground and took off because a delivery truck came through the entryway and I knew it was the table for our Hartley. So that is in there now. I will show that to you in a future video. In fact, we'll probably start doing some plant videos in there because I feel like I'm such a visual person. I need to see things in place and get a feel for it before I can take off and decorate a space. That makes me kind of a slow mover on certain things, but I feel like I am ready to get going in that space now, especially now that we're kind of cruising into closer to fall, and I'll want to be in there more than out here for sure once it's real cold. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.